All right. Hey Steve, how you doing?
Hey, Mike, I'm doing okay.
Oh, just okay. Anything specific that you wanted to bring up?
Well, I'm still, you know, just fighting a daily sort of depression that I can't see my kids. So it's just been,
Mm,
since getting out of jail, any friends that have contacted me since getting out of jail, all they can do is try to pet me up. They go, "Oh, man, you're finally a free man, and you're finally, out of the hand of the man." And all I can think about is I'm not free at all. I can't see my kids right now. I can't even I can't even afford a you know an Uber to get to them if I wanted to.
hmm So, what's really nice about that is, though, it sounds like you have a good support system with your friends that they do care about you.
You know,
And
that is true, and I've known them for a long time. They're friends that I had, before I got into what I got into. So,
right,
but
and
even still, it's tough to relate to them. It's tough for anybody.
yeah,
I feel like it's tough for anybody to relate to me.
yeah. After such a big change in life, for sure. So I noticed you said that you couldn't afford an Uber. So I remember last time we talked about you said that you had a problem with your the driving incident. So I'm gonna correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm gonna assume that you don't have your driver's license.
No, I can't even try to get it back for a whole year.
Okay. And so for our last session and this session as well, could you tell me how you managed to come to these, please?
Well, my dad brings me
Okay.
my asshole dad that I live with now. Maybe the only good thing about him is that he will drive me to my court mandated places, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be here to meet with you. I've got a periodically drug test. He drives me to that. And
Okay. Of
it is helpful that he drives me around. But
course.
I also feel like he uses it, as an opportunity to, put his thumb over me and, remind me of
Mm-hmm.
how terrible my mistakes are, when he couldn't even, he was the shittiest husband to his wife growing up, and he's got nothing but bad things to say about me, as a father now. So
Yeah. Well, I see that you're really putting in the effort to be, a better father, a better person overall since your past. So I really want to commend you for that. Even if your father is being put down on you, I think you definitely have lots of potential, and I think you can, you know, I want you to realize that. I really do.
well, thanks. I have considered it, you know a very small victory, that I
Hey,
have,
a victory nonetheless.
yeah, that I haven't chewed his ass out yet. So
So recently we've just been talking about a little bit of lows. Can you meet some highs that happened over the week? Maybe some other smaller victories that you felt like you had.
well, um, I got two kids and two different babies' mamas, and so this week I sent an email out to both of them. Tried as nice as I could to word the emails, and uh, for my youngest son David, his mother never returned the email, but my older child, Allison, her mother actually did respond to the email, and that was
Great.
a complete shock to me, because the whole time that I was in prison, she was completely non-responsive. So one
Hmm.
one good thing this week is that I did, make peaceful communication with one of my children's mothers.
That's great. Would you say that, that relationship can improve and that you want to get into communication with the other as well?
Yeah, I want to, but I just don't know how. I don't want to,
Right.
and I feel like I have to kind of walk on eggshells around her already. And now the terms of this parole is that I can't, that I can't reach out to her via phone. And of course, I'm not supposed to drive over there unannounced. But
Hmm.
when I talked to my probation officer, He did say I was allowed to send her an email, So
Okay.
right now it's, yeah, I want those things to happen. I don't know, how I can make it happen until I can pay child support. Literally, that's what I think it is. Until I can pay child support,
Hmm.
she's not going to be interested in talking to me.
So you think that even if you were able to call her and she saw it, she wouldn't answer it unless you were paying the money.
I mean, I think the first question she would ask is, "Where are you working, and when are you going to drop off a check to me?"
Hmm.
That's what she would say.
Okay. Well, so right now, I guess, like again, we talked about last time, your job is sounds like this needs to be the most important thing so that you can make the money so that you can uh, pay the child support so that you can support yourself again. So that having a job, it sounds like it would solve many problems around you. Um, and you talked about before that you worked as a bartender and a drug dealer, correct?
That's what I did before prison. Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me what kind of skills you learned through both of those lines of work?
Um, well, I'm not gonna lie. When I was a bartender, you know, I didn't so much bartend as deal drugs underneath the bar itself. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't even know that bartending is, I would even consider a skill. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can mix a whiskey and Coke, but if you ask me what a cosmopolitan is or something, so I'm not a real bartender. I
Okay.
did it to make some money on the side, but really I did it as a cover for drug dealing. So, what I was good at before prison was, making money on the street, uh, getting a bag for $100 and piecing it out and selling it for $400, So, uh, I'm really good at, uh, selling drugs, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. It sounds like, even though you might view it as just selling drugs, there's a lot of different skills that you're using in there. You're using some good math skills, some good business skills. You're putting in a lot of work, and you're having to have different communications with a lot of different people to be able to distribute and run a whole system, you know?
I never really thought of it that way, but it is very true though that I can do quick. I'm really good with quick numbers, you know what I mean? Because if I don't keep my numbers straight, I don't make the money I need to make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that there are some jobs out there that you could utilize those skills with?
I mean, I'm sure there are. I just don't know, what kind of jobs could I get, with just some skills with math or whatever.
Right. Yeah, we can do some research, I think, and we can look for jobs that don't require any education that you might still qualify for, that we can try and get you in. And then if you feel like you're up for it, we could even try and get you into some education. That way you can get a degree and be more suitable to find better work.
I mean, as long as it's not an obstacle to me seeing my kids, you know what I mean?
Of
If
course.
I would rather, uh, you know, I'd rather flip burgers and see my kids than spend 4 years in college to see them. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, of course. We'll figure out the best solution. Even if we could, yeah, flipping burgers right now would be great. You still have work, you're still making money. And then maybe in the background too, you could be doing some school, getting some more education, and then that way in the future you can even be better off. But that's a little more down the line, so we can focus on that after we focus on your more immediate needs.
okay.
Yeah. So let's say um, you did get your problems were solved overnight. How do you think the first day? How would you feel? When do you think you would have noticed that your problems were just all solved magically?
Well, if all of my problems were solved magically, I guess I would wake up, and walk out of my bedroom and knock on the next door where my kids are sleeping. So hopefully,
Hmm.
how I would notice it is that I'd wake up in a house full of, you know, one or more of my kids. Um,
That sounds great.
I guess the other thing is I'm constantly uh even now it's just so hard just to do the bare minimum for all this probation, getting to all these meetings,
Of course.
not trying to sound like I don't appreciate it, but all of my efforts right now are kind of focused on, ticking these boxes that the government makes me tick. And
Hmm.
so I guess if overnight all my problems disappeared, I would also wake up without perpetually thinking about the next meeting I have to get to. I can
Yeah.
maybe I would be worrying less frequently, so I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, like before you said you didn't feel like a free man even though you were out of prison. But I think after that, that sounds like you'd be really free.
absolutely, if I have my kids back in my life, and I have, I don't need to be a rich man. I don't need $1 million, but if I at least just had a job to where I could just at least put some food on the table, and have a safe home for my kids, you know, yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I want.
That's great. So we'll I want you to do a little bit of research and see um what kind of jobs you can get, you know, uh what kind of jobs you can get without having a degree or anything right now. And then after we figure that out, then we can move on forward about, maybe figure out education or how you can work with your money to be focused on you, your kids, and such. How does that sound for you?
That sounds great.
Great. So our time is closing up over here. So have any questions or anything that you want to get out of the way before we have to close up?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, great. If you do have any questions, you can give me a call or text. You have my number. Um, and that should be good for now. And we'll schedule in. How does a week sound from now?
Sounds good.
Great. All right. Thank you so much for coming in. I really do appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you growing on this journey. I can already see it.
Thanks, Michael. I'll see you next week.
All right. Have a good one.